Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome back to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton, Malissa Longo, and a host of great shirts.
Yay! I love
all right.
this one.
So we're talking about Captive Pursuit, which I was telling Cirroc, was it that I keep wanting to call it Captive Honor, because as everybody knows, it's a Megadeth song, right? Everybody knows the Megadeth song Captive Honor. Yeah. But I keep catching myself. It's Captive Pursuit, Captive Honor. There was a cool transporter effect that the hunters had. I think maybe some people might have looked at it and thought it was kind of like cheesy 90s stuff, but I thought it was really cool. Anything that's like a new effect for a transporter is really interesting. And theirs was quick. It would just kind of come up and boom, like David Copperfield pulling up a thing in front of someone and they dropping it and they're gone. That's
like
what it felt
curtain.
like. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it was great. And I thought the helmets were great too. I thought their whole outfits were great because it felt alien to Deep Space Nine, and that's great.
Yeah, I also like the scene where Toss tries to disappear on Odo and run away, and he's caught in the hallways. I love that just moment how Odo's like, good luck trying to outsmart me. The line about the flea market I thought was really clever as well too.
Love that. Just
like, I think we're just like a big flea market. That was cute, and it's a nice take on it. But I want to really also, we're also celebrating Sisko Day, so I really want to give Sisko a lot of credit too in these scenes that he was in. I liked the energy he had when Miss Sarda, the Double Girl, was complaining. He had the right energy for me, for somebody who's in charge and who's taking control of the situation. It felt like he was on top of it, whether we saw follow-up or not. In that scene, he seemed engaged. Also, later on, when he was talking with Tusk, and he says, he was talking to the guys that were hunting Tusk, and he says, I have no tolerance for the abuse of any life form on my station. The way he said that, I thought I was, I was impressed by that statement and the, affirmative way that he kind of laid it down. Like, this is my rule. There was a lot of authority behind that. And then lastly, with respect to Sisko, the scene where he had with O'Brien at the end, where he has to kind of reprimand O'Brien for breaking the rules and not, leaving his comm badge on the floor and, and breaking the rules. I thought that was really one of the best scenes as well, because Sisko is stern and he's, chewing him out as he should according to Starfleet's regulations and rules. But he also softened up in the moment when O'Brien says, when I was stuck in that, crawling through the tunnels, I was definitely sure that he was able to, we'd get trapped in some kind of force field or something. And Sisko's line when he says, I guess that one got by us.
Yep.
And he says it very straight without even hinting like he did it. He says it very straight. I love the delivery. And then after O'Brien leaves, he has a smile.
When he tells Odo, take your time. And Odo was so freaking cute because he starts moseying on and then he stops and he looks back and he's like,
he's so cute.
Grumble. And he starts walking slowly and deliberately. And we're like, that is you cutie, Odo, you big Papa Bear.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to add to that, when I was watching this last night, there was one moment, and I can't remember the moment, but I was like, I really like Sisko. And it was just, no, but how sometimes these thoughts pop into your head that reaffirm something that you already knew, but it's kind of a new discovery again. But I really like Sisko. And what Cirroc was saying, he's stern, but but there's also an even-handedness to him. He's very fair, and he's open to everybody else's cultures, other species cultures, but he's also one to follow the rules as well. And he has a way of navigating that, towing that line between being open to other people's cultures and following the rules. So I think he's wonderful at that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's what I'm talking about. Exactly that. Even at the end, when he says to O'Brien, he says, what should I tell Starfleet in the report? And O'Brien says, well, you could say that, and he starts to give him the BS. And Sisko's like, save it. He's like,
it was rhetorical, bro. Go fix something.
Yeah, like, I wasn't asking you. But I love that. And yeah, like there's just moments where you can see, his fairness. Like he's going to give you the tough love. He's going to tell you straight up, but he's going to omit certain parts when he writes the report. He's not going to write the report to get you court-martialed, O'Brien. Don't worry, you'll be fine. But at the same time, don't you ever do that again. And I think he was more upset that O'Brien took the comm badge off and didn't want to have communication with him. He was like, that is where you pissed me off, right? I wouldn't have mind if you had said, hey, I'm helping this dude.
Right. If he kept the lines of communication open with Sisko, he would have thought, been better with that than, cutting him off completely. Right. It's like, dude, trust me. I got your back.
Exactly.
But we only have a few minutes left here, but you did touch on, Malissa, something that we're always talking about on when we're reviewing this show, and that's the juggling act of respecting other cultures and enforcing the laws within the station. I think it was maybe best demonstrated when Worf was about to kill his brother. And Sisko was like, what that? And he's like, well, it is in my custom. I am allowed to. And he's like, that's in murder in our custom, dude. So, but what do you do? Like, do you say that their cultures are not as important as ours? Even if, no matter how immoral we think it is. And so that was, again, this episode, maybe for the first time, was demonstrating that juggling act that not just O'Brien, but Sisko, it ultimately falls on his shoulders. Even if O'Brien is the sword that's dealing out the blow, Sisko is the one that is going to say yes or no, or look away saying yes,
Yeah.
It is the way he administers justice. It's how he does it that separates him from other people. I'll give you another example of how he administers justice. There was a point in this episode where Kira says, well, what if he requests asylum? And Sisko contemplates that and then says, if he asks, which is not the same as I'm just going to grant it to him.
Right.
Because that's what he would need. He needs at this moment. There is a protocol. He has to ask. If he requests it, I will grant it to him. And I felt like just like little things like that set in motion, like, O'Brien saying, okay, well, I'm going to convince him to ask for asylum. I'm going to have that conversation. But it was Sisko saying, I'm extending this olive branch, but I'm not going to overimpose it. There's a protocol. I have, a procedural way of things having to be executed. And I thought that was another example of how he leads, suggestively, or contemplatively. It's very subtle.
Well, and I was thinking about that too. I was thinking, well, if they had imposed asylum on Tosk, that right there would have been breaking the Prime Directive more than anything that O'Brien did, in my opinion, because they're changing the culture or trying to change the culture. So if they had imposed asylum, that would be breaking the Prime Directive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know we got to go, Ryan. I'm going to just end really quickly with my favorite last line, which is when O'Brien swings a punch at the guy and says, "Glass jaw, huh?"
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
Yes.
damn. I didn't know they were going to talk that much shit in Deep Space Nine.
Now I know why you wear that helmet. It was hilarious.
And then he had his friend like over shoulder with his phone, putting it on Instagram or TikTok in it. Yeah. Like alien gets knocked out by Irish guy is what it's called. Scottish guy. Irish guy.
Irish.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Here's some Irish people that we'd like to give thanks to. Their names are, before we go to the free-for-all, which is up next, their names are Homer Frizzell, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, Eve England out in Wales, Yvette Blackman Tom, TJ Jackson Bay, Bill Victor Arukin, Titus Muller, Darlena Marie, Dr. Mohammed Noor, Tierney C. Diekman, Anna Post, Anil O. Palat, Joe Balsarati, Mike Gu, the enigma known as DQ, Neil Akasaka, our good pal Justine Norton Kurtzen, Dr. Stephanie Baker, Carrie Schwent, Faith Howell, Edward Foltz, My Live from Tokyo, The Matt Boardman, Chris McGee, Justin Weir, Jake Barrett, Jane Jorgensen, Henry Unger, Allison Leach Hyde, Jed Thompson, Classic Marcia Schreier, Brandon Gant, and of course, Doctors Susan V. Gruner and Jason Oken. Stick around, everybody. We've got the free-for-all up next. We will be right back on Seventh Rule.